So welcome, everyone. You might want to take a little stretch for a quick moment and perhaps turn side to side and welcome a neighbor and just wave hi. And in Zoom land, waving to the other boxes. So my name is Denise. I'm one of the Dharma leaders here at IMCC. Welcome to everyone. So tonight we conclude our 4-week Sutta series. And I will be speaking on the Satipatthana Sutta. There are over 10,000 suttas. Can everyone hear me okay? We're good? We're good at home? Good. Thanks, guys. So there's over 10,000 suttas. So why choose the Satipatthana Sutta? Partly because I've only scratched the surface in knowing the suttas. Yes, ma'am? It's a little soft. I was just told to be bossier. How's that working for everybody? Are you talking to me? There you go. Very good. Okay. Okay. So I like the Satipatthana Sutta because I consider it to be the cliff notes for the Dharma, the Buddha's teachings. Close to a one-stop shop for all the info, and I like that. So within the first few lines of the sutta, the Buddha says, this is the direct path. He is giving us the answer to the test, to our life's test. This is the direct path for purification of beings, for surmounting of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the attainment of the true way, for the realization of Nibbana, namely the 4 foundations of mindfulness. We want to look into mindfulness of the body. There are the 4 foundations: mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of the mind, and mindfulness of what are called the dhammas, or mind objects. And we're going to dive into these a little bit more later in the talk. But first I want to define mindfulness. It's often defined as moment-to-moment awareness. That's what we were just trying to do in our sitting meditation. Bhante Gunaratana says, seeing reality exactly as it is. It's a bit of a task to stay focused, as we've noticed in our meditation. Well, there's another reason why I chose this sutta. I got quite indignant and annoyed and fueled by self-righteousness at a recent podcast I listened to. How un-Buddhist of me. It was a Mel Robbins podcast with a psychoneurobiologist, Dr. Caroline Leaf, who has studied the brain's neuroplasticity. And she wrote the book, Cleaning Up Your Brain. Mel Robbins introduced Dr. Leaf as the developer of Neurocycle, a 5-step program using your thoughts to change your mind, to heal brain trauma, and to work on traumatic responses. This evidence-based program showed an 81% reduction in anxiety, depression, and negative thinking. Pretty good, right? You wonder why I have a beef with it. She states depression and anxiety are not a fixed disease, but emotional warning signs. And she recommends labeling to face and to learn and grow from the scary, hard emotions, the difficulties in life. She points out adverse responses to adverse events just makes us normal. She said the mind has power to heal. And this is not a technique to replace a negative thought with a positive thought. She instructs us to catch our thoughts in the early stages and to manage them to improve our peace and well-being, and reminds us intrusive thoughts are signaling something to us. This is her program. It has a mind-body prep to begin with visualization and meditation and breathing. And she encourages us to take a 10-second pause. And on the last 6 of those 10 seconds, to say, let go. So the first step is to gather awareness, asking yourself 4 questions. What am I feeling? Where am I feeling this in my body? What are my behaviors? What is my perspective? How am I looking at my situation? Basically, to observe. The second step is to reflect. How am I seeing myself in relation to those 4 questions? The third is to write or mindstorm words, phrases, thoughts that are bugging you, intrusive thought, a free flow of thoughts. Which one is popping up the most? 4 is to recheck. Reconceptualize how we are looking at things from another angle. How can I see this differently? How am I relating to my experience? And 5 is active reach. Take a specific thought or action to practice and reinforce this new, healthier thought pattern you identified in your recheck phase. She encourages an ongoing practice daily to get a new habit, and she recommends 63 days of daily practice to develop this habit. Encouraging us to remember the thought, we won't lose the memory, but we will have more power ourselves versus the thought having power over us. Sounds pretty good, all good, right? Well, my thinking and ego upon hearing this technique is that's the Buddha's work, sister, right? And you should give him some credit, at least a nod in his direction. This all sounded pretty much like the Satipatthana Sutta to me. My mind said, others are also stealing the Buddha's work and not giving credit, and they are profiting from it. I was getting really miffed, and I thought, how arrogant of these people to claim this as their brainchild and not give credit. I'm not proud of my behaviors, I'm just telling you my truth. So it sounds like I could have used the neurocycle or the Satipatthana Sutta while listening to this podcast, for the truth. And then my mind drifted to other thoughts, and what we say in Dharma speak arose. Was the Buddha the inventor of the Dharma? Well, as a matter of fact, no. Okay? The Dharma means truth, like universal truth, what some people think of as natural law. The Buddha was a Hindu, and there were other Buddhas before Siddhartha Gautama. What the Buddha did, which is extraordinarily difficult to do, is discover the truth of how the mind works and master the understanding of the mind. And then he's trying to teach us, or tried to teach others to do the same, and then this has been propagated. As I cooled my jets, and rationality could creep back into my head, I remembered truth is truth, no matter who discovers it. I don't know if Dr. Leaf has any awareness of the Dharma. Perhaps she doesn't. And the fact that her science experiments have panned out helpful techniques to reduce the suffering for others that parallels the Dharma, well, that seems like a terrific thing. And helping more people and putting science behind what the Buddha taught, that's a win-win. The Buddha offered teachings on enlightenment freely for the benefit of all, for the reduction of suffering. And I do believe that Dr. Leaf and others whose programs, books, and techniques are used to advance self-care do so in the spirit of helping others. They have a Buddha nature within just like we all do. And they have access to the truth too when seeing clearly. And isn't it better that more people know the truth and can benefit from it, no matter the packaging? Like others say, there is more than one way to God. Well, there's more than one way to know the Dharma. Maybe that's why there's over 10,000 suttas. Truth is truth. And maybe one technique can suit one person better than another, and another technique might help someone else. And I shouldn't care, the truth is, as long as the truth is being sought, recognized, and practiced. And what if people wouldn't embark on this path to learn to master the mind if it came under the title of the Buddha's teachings? It's not even religious. For some folks, this can be a religious practice. For others, it's a spiritual practice. For others, it can be an understanding in psychology and philosophy. It's a way to live and to understand the mind. So these people would not even perhaps embark on this teaching if you said Buddha. And maybe not having that label allows them to come to the truth. For those who find the Buddha's teachings to be helpful, the Satipatthana is a guide to help us navigate the Dharma to reduce suffering. We can apply each of these 4 foundations of mindfulness to help us to see clearly, both when we're meditating on the cushion and during our lives during the day when we are off the cushion. This sutta is very in-depth, okay? And I'm just going to be doing a brief overview. I've left a handout on the seats here, and for the folks at home, I do have a screen share here that I'm going to attempt. Thank you for those who helped me to set this up. Where are we going here? Come on, baby, we can do this. One participant, yeah, that's me. Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go. Where is it? I'm gonna try, hopefully this is it. Nope, it's not. Okay. Guys, I'm sorry, it doesn't seem to be opening here for the folks at Zoom. I did leave my email address in the, I'm gonna go to here. I left my email address in the chat box, so you can email me. I'd be happy to send you this little handout. It's more like the Cliff Notes, so it's a little bit busy, I agree. But it's a good cheat sheet, and we will not be going through each and every thing on here, but we'll be summarizing, okay? Our primary resources for this talk are the Majjhima Nikāya, Sutta number 10, for anyone who wants more in-depth look at this. Also, Bhikkhu Analayo's book, the Satipatthana, The Path to Realization. He's the expert, one of the experts. And Joseph Goldstein's book, Mindfulness, which is all on the Satipatthana Sutta. And all of these chapters, he has done a talk on dharmaseed.org. I think there's something like 46 of the different talks, so you can hear it online at Dharmaseed. So on the note of having different paths to the truth, even with all these fine minds in the Buddhist practice, they even have different translations, okay? In the Majjhima Nikāya, the bigger book here, it is described under the 4 foundations of mindfulness to have 13 different core practices that when we are doing our meditation or examining our mindfulness in the moment, we can look to any of those 13 to kind of get a grip on where we're at in that moment. Bhikkhu Analayo, in his studies, okay, of the oldest texts in the Pali language, in the Sanskrit language, and the Chinese language, found there to be 7 core practices. And on your handout, I have put those in an asterisk, the ones that he found to be the 7 core practices. So whichever suits you best, cool. Okay. I'm not a Buddha, I'm not a monk, I'm not a scholar, I am a novice. I find the 13 practice sections in the Majjhima Nikāya number 10 to be helpful because it puts more of the teachings under structured format, and I like bullet points, that's my thing. So I hope that doesn't overwhelm anyone. You don't need to go into this in great depth tonight. You don't have to digest all of this. If you just want to refer back every once in a while, hey, what was that about? You might look back at the sheet. So the Satipatthana Sutta is the direct path for realization. And we have the 4 foundations of mindfulness. The Buddha said, "Hear bhikkhus, a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body as a body, fully aware and mindful, having putting away covetousness and grief for the world. And he abides contemplating feelings as feelings, contemplating the mind as mind, and the dhammas or mind objects as mind objects, fully aware, ardent, mindful, and having put away covetousness and grief for the world." Joseph Goldstein, in his book Mindfulness, prefers the translation 4 ways of establishing mindfulness. He says that puts more emphasis on the process of awareness, which is what we were just doing on our meditation. So rather than kind of passively saying a noting that's there, us having somewhat more active involvement, bringing that energy in to see what is happening. He wrote, "When we establish the 4 fields of mindfulness, we abide in safety. But if we are not mindful, we get lost in unwholesome reactions and create suffering for ourselves and others." So briefly, the first field of mindfulness is mindfulness of the body. This is awareness of the breath. We were practicing that, or at least some folks were practicing during the meditation. What is this breath like? Is it short or is it long? Do I feel full access to the breath? Whatever that breath is, being with it, not judging it, accepting it as it is. The same for our posture. We focused a little bit more on the posture. The 4 postures that are described are sitting. Most of us are sitting. We could have chosen to stand and done our meditation in standing. Lying, many of us would have fallen asleep, or walking. The truth is we can do this in any posture. We want to be mindful in all of our postures. So today on the note of posture, and maybe this is too much information, I had my annual mammogram, and which nobody enjoys, okay? But you normally have to turn and be pulled and all this stuff. And this lady was putting me all over the place and pushing my head first, slamming me up this way. She's pushing the hip back, she tilts me over, she puts an arm here, an arm down here, pulling. She was pretty aggressive on it. And then she's telling me to tip like a teapot and turn that way and put my foot out here. And she says, "Look at me." So I said, "I think my neck is tight, which is causing this." She says, "We're all a little off." And I thought to myself, well, now I have awareness that apparently I'm a Picasso. I had no idea. So whatever posture we're in, know the posture we're in. Okay. So we touched on this a little bit with our meditation also, looking at our body parts, all of the body parts. We can focus on any of them as long as we're present in the moment and understanding what is our reality. And the same for the elements. The earth element represents solidity, maybe our bones, the solid parts of us. And then the water element is our fluid parts. Fire element can be our temperature, our heat, or lack thereof, and the air element, our breath. And we are taught abiding, contemplating the body, the corpse, charnel ground contemplations. So we too can look at the truth of decay and impermanence, remembering we are of the nature to die. After each of these fields of mindfulness, that was the mindfulness of the body, there is an insight or a refrain. And this being summarized, one can look at this internally and externally, or internally and externally, if you're really good, okay? Or else contemplating the body and its nature of arising or vanishing. We did that with the breath, arising and vanishing. We want to be mindful there is a body and simply established in him to the extent necessary for bare attention, pure observation. Abiding independent, not clinging to anything in the world, because everything is impermanent. We let go. So the second field is the contemplation of feeling. This doesn't mean our emotions feeling. This is more is something pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral in the moment. And then recognizing, are we holding on? And a contracted mind, I've gone to the wrong spot there. So we want to know if something's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral in that moment. Not judging it, it's an immediate reaction, it's not a thought, it's a feeling. Okay? Then under contemplation in the mind, are we holding on with greed, hatred, or delusion? Are we contracted or distracted in our meditation? Are we concentrated or unconcentrated? Or are we liberated or unliberated in this moment? Then under the dhammas, we meet again the 5 hindrances that we probably may have met in our meditation. Do we have greed, hatred, or delusion with restlessness and worry, sloth and torpor, doubt, sensual pleasures, or desire, or aversion? We might also see there joy. We might have had a very good meditation where we recognized our mindfulness and our investigation and energy and joy, tranquility, and concentration, equanimity, what are known as the 7 factors of enlightenment. So this is just a very brief overview. This is a lot of information. We can take any one of these bits and pieces and practice during one of our meditations. You might choose one day and another, or maybe it's just coming to you during your meditation, being with what is. So when I think of some of the things that are most important that I've learned in this life, they typically started with my own unwholesomeness, just like why I wanted to talk about this Satipatthana Sutta, my ego, and a healthy dose of suffering that went along. Me being a bit of a reactive hothead has been helped by this practice and efforts towards awareness and following the Dharma to help me have more favorable experiences. This being is a work in progress. And through this insight meditation practice, I hope I will become more skilled and reduce suffering for myself and others. This practice has been a good fit for me, and perhaps you have found the same. And if I or others come to the Dharma through another person's fine work packaged under another preferred branding, I'm grateful for that too.